Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Friday, August 19th. So we do still have the moon in Taurus energy. We will be having our last quarter moon in Taurus at 26 degrees before the moon is going to go void and, of course, transit in and lock in to Gemini energy. So we have the last quarter moon in Taurus taking place shortly after midnight Eastern Standard Time. Then the moon is going to go void at 7:06 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will be locking into Gemini energy at 8:07 a.m. So only about an hour where the moon is void. That works in our favor because when the moon is void, things are shaky, things are unstable, things are uncertain. There's going to be a lot of pressure here today, a lot of intensity. It's going to feel like we're jacked up in our inner realm, but probably quite slow, heavy, and weighted in our physical bodies. The reason for that, first of all, the moon being in Taurus, we will feel a little bit of a shift into the mental plane, kind of lightening up the inner realm, if you will, into that headspace. But we also have Mars wrapping up his time at the final degrees of Taurus energy, preparing to move into Gemini energy here on the 20th. Again, take a listen to August's energy intro and take a look for Mars moving into Gemini, that astro forecast as well. So we do have some pressure building here today. It is going to be a little bit of a roller coaster kind of day. But again, our inner realms are a little bit more awake, a little bit more intense, a little bit more aggressive than our physical realms are. Our physical bodies are a little bit slow, if you will. So, like I said, right out of the gate, we have the moon squaring the sun. That's what gives us our last quarter moon. The moon in Taurus, again, trying to ground us out, trying to keep us in the present moment, trying to focus on the smaller details of life where we can get happiness from, where we can get joy from. This square, though, is entering into a boxing ring with the sun, who, of course, is in its place of power in Leo. So the last quarter moon always brings us to a crisis point, if you will, a full circle awareness of the moon cycle that we began back under the new moon in Leo. And of course, we peaked in illumination, had some details and information emerge under that full moon in Aquarius just about a week ago. And now we have to sit and figure out what is going to work for us, what is not going to work for us. What are we moving ahead trying to pursue? What are we leaving behind? Now, again, a square is a tension point. We're getting into the boxing ring. We're fighting it out because we have to feel uncomfortable with our current circumstances to figure out where we're going to pour our time, energy, and attention into. This particular vibe, if you will, is a little bit more amplified because at that 26 degree in Taurus, we have a little bit of a flashback to eclipse season. Of course, the true nodes of the moon on that Taurus and Scorpio axis. We had that full moon event at 26 degrees in Taurus. We're rewinding back to about April and May. Again, bringing a lot of information, a lot of details, full circle, figuring out where it is that we're at, especially since we just transitioned through this Lionsgate portal. We chose a different timeline. We chose a different path. Now we have to figure out what we're taking with us and what kind of baggage we're going to leave behind. So this is not a great time to jump into anything new, not a great time to make a decision, to make a choice point, but rather reflect back, kind of sort through the details, time to wrap things up. You know, there's been a lot of fragmented energy, a lot of projects that didn't get finished up, a lot of details that we haven't looked into. It's time to kind of bring things to a close, to an ending point, to a finishing point, in order for us to have a clean slate to enter into the next lunar cycle that we will be entering into with the new moon in Virgo here very shortly. So the moon goes ahead and trines Pluto. This is right after we have our last quarter moon aspect. I like this energy because Pluto is the great transformer, which means that whatever tension we were feeling under that square between the moon and the sun, whatever details. We are reprocessing, analyzing, whatever it is that we're sorting out, something clicked in our mental plane. Pluto, although the great transformer, does a number on our psyche first, then activates the emotional change that, of course, goes along with switching up our perspective and understanding. And then getting our heart and head on the same page, we're able to actually kind of orient our physical body in the right path and direction of actually engaging to take action in this new path, in this new direction. So there's some kind of aha moment, some kind of revelation that comes out of the moon squaring the sun, giving us that full illumination, that full circle type of analysis, if you will, over the past month, and more importantly, the last week, where there was an awakening that has taken place, new aha moments, light bulbs flashing off. We've had a perspective change. We've had new information that we now have to consider. This is a good vibe because it means that we are processing what it is that we need to process, focusing on the future instead of dwelling on the past, and coming up with some aha moments, some ideas that we are now going to engage the physical body to actually pursue. The moon is going to make a beautiful interaction with Venus. Venus, of course, the ruler over Taurus energy. Venus is in Leo energy, making things very big, very grand. We're in love with love. We're in love with socializing. We're in love with new passions and desires. We're putting ourselves out there. Our heart chakras are wide open. We are looking to have fun. There is a total expression of self, the lightest vibe that we can actually embody at this particular point in time. And with the moon interacting with Venus in this way, we are kind of realizing the wishes, the dreams, the visions that our heart and our soul are asking us to pursue, a new worth, a new value in keeping the vibe high and curiosity in full heart chakra expression. We're bringing that in and we're grounding it out in our physical body. We're literally taking these wants and dreams and passions and desires, we're bringing them into the physical form, and now we're trying to figure out how we're going to integrate this in our life. Like, what do we have to build? What do we have to create in order to keep this vibration high, in order to establish a path in a direction where we can continue to pursue these new hopes, these new dreams? Now, the moon is going to come up, bump into, and conjunct Mars. As I'd mentioned, Mars is finishing out the very final degrees in Taurus energy, preparing to jump into Gemini energy here tomorrow. Mars is the god of war, ruling over the physical energy, the drive, the passion that we have, how we pursue and assert ourselves in life, new passions, new desires. We have a new inspiration, a new motivation to actually focus in on. Now, it wouldn't be a bad thing to go back and listen to Mars in Taurus so that you can reflect back on what that particular life lesson is. And again, anytime that we are nearing those final degrees, wrapping up a particular life lesson, there's always this sense of intensity and urgency to wrap this up. Now, let me just say, Mars is intense and passionate and aggressive, especially with the pursuit of new passions and desires. But also the line between passion and anger is very, very thin. And if we don't keep ourselves in check, we could manifest this intensity as anger, as irritability, as frustration. We want everything to happen yesterday. We may look back and realize that we weren't as productive as we would have liked, that we didn't accomplish what we set out to accomplish, that we still have a huge list to do. Now, don't let that get you down, okay? Again, be very mindful of this energy because we want to use this energy to bump us up, to inspire us, to motivate us. We're about to jump into the Gemini energy, which is the intellect, the mental plane, where we are going to have to kind of enter into the battlefield, the realm of the mind, so to speak. And it is going to be quite a change. But, you know, the low and slow, steady pace that Mars has had to take in Taurus has been kind of irritating and frustrating, even on the best of days. So we want to tap into the inspiration, the motivation, the determination that we want, need, and desire to continue to push ourselves forward. We don't want to settle into the irritability, the frustration, or even the anger. Now, this is the very last aspect that the moon in Taurus is going to make before going void of course. And like I mentioned, it's only about an hour that the moon will be void. We lock into that Gemini energy at 8:07 a.m. And this is when we feel a huge shift because we are moving out of the earth energy and into the air energy that rolls over the intellect. The moon, of course, is still our heart space, our emotions, our memories, our intuition. But now we're blending that with our intellect, the egoic part of our intellect, where logic and practicality rule all, where curiosity peaks, I would say kills the cat, but we're not talking about that bad things here. We need to be curious. We have to ask the questions. We have to seek the answers. We have to debate things out. That's what Gemini energy is all about. The pros, the cons, the highs, the lows, the black, the white, the in-between. We have to go to extremes in order to find ourselves a comfortable place in the middle. And we will do that over the next couple of days, but just keep in mind that the moon moving into Gemini is really going to lighten the vibe that we've been feeling over the last couple of days, and especially with the solar flares popping off, many of us having ascension symptoms that are just very uncomfortable. We should feel a lighter vibration, a lighter frequency, but it is going to take us into the headspace. So when the moon locks into this Gemini energy, the very first thing that the moon in Gemini is going to do is a semi-square, a little bit of a tension point, a little bit of a confrontation with Chiron, the wounded healer, who is retrograde in Aries energy. What this is going to do is kind of, I'm going to say, fluff up what it is that we really have to be focused on as far as the progress that we've made in certain topics and themes, to heal that, to come to some kind of solution or resolution to some of the problems and issues that have been highlighted for us, especially over the course of the last week since the full moon in Aquarius. And it's also going to put us in a perfect position to start questioning ourselves. So Chiron, being the wounded healer in a retrograde, in this Aries energy, wants us to check in with our healing journey, with our mental health, with our physical health, address some of the issues that we know are a problem that we have to do something about. The moon in Gemini, like I said, curiosity is peak. We're doing a deep dive into our mental plane. Now, is this uncomfortable? Yeah, it should be. A semi-square is a tension point for us to realize what isn't working for us. We have to identify what isn't working for us so that we can fix it. So this is going to bring up for us what it is that we're still bothered by, what it is that still needs our attention, what it is that we should be pouring our focus into, because there are some elements, especially with the questions that we have at this particular juncture point in our journey. We have some questions that need to be answered, and this is definitely going to highlight those particular inquiries, if you will. So then the sun in Leo goes ahead and interacts with Pluto, who is retrograde in Capricorn, in such a way that is going to highlight for us, again, feeding off of the moon, just interacting with Chiron, highlighting for us the problems, the issues, the questions that we need to find answers to. We're feeding off of that. The sun and Pluto is going to illuminate for us where it is that we have to make some changes, where it is that we have to make some adjustments. Adjustments are necessary. If you go back to the ascension forecast for this week, even maybe last week's ascension forecast, I had mentioned that prior to the full moon in Aquarius, we thought we were, we knew what path we were on. We knew the strategy. We knew the steps that we had to take. I had mentioned that by the time we got to the end of this week that we're currently, kind of stepping into, that things were going to be different. Things were going to change. We have information and details that emerged since that full moon in Aquarius that now has us thinking in a different way, exploring different options and alternatives. So now we have to make the adjustments. We have to make the changes. And a lot of this has to do with our perspective, our understanding of situations gone by, and the current situation that we're trying to strategize with logic and practicality to come up and with a perfect plan in order to move forward, now we have different options. And let me just say that when Mars, this whole time that Mars has been in Taurus, we've kind of had the blinders on, fixated, like, nope, this is the path for me. This is the only way to do it. This is the only outcome. These are my only options. We didn't see what was going on outside of our peripherals. We had that tunnel vision. Now, especially with Mars preparing to move into Gemini, we have to consider the options. Those blinders are coming off. And now we're going to be looking around and saying, what? I didn't know that that was going on outside of what I was trying to do, or I didn't know that that was an option. I didn't know that that was a choice. I didn't know that I could even step in that direction. I didn't even know that that was a thing. Now we're having these like aha moments, these epiphanies, because our world, our perspective, our understanding, our options just got a lot broader than we originally thought that they were. So now we're going to have to really sit and think about that, adjust ourselves accordingly in our mental space with that mental processing, with the emotions that go along with it. Because when you open up your eyes and you see what's been going on outside of your tunnel vision, now you got to like sit with yourself and see how you feel about it. And then again, getting our heart and head on the same page, preparing to actually engage in taking physical action in our physical realms to move forward. So then we had Venus interacting with Neptune. Now, Venus is in Leo. Neptune is in its place of power in Pisces, but retrograde. Now, Venus is the lower octave of Neptune. Neptune is the higher octave of our, let's call it feminine energy, of our intuition, of our free-flowing energy. It connects us to the higher realms, to our higher self, to, intellect and information and insight outside of our physical form. Venus brings it into the physical form, applies it to our physical circumstances. So it's almost like we have dreams, we have insights, we have our intuition. That's the higher realm of Neptune. And then we have these aha moments. We bring them into our physical bodies. We have to feel how it is that we actually feel about these insights, these thoughts, these feelings. And then we're able to kind of reestablish within our physical body what we're going to do with it. Now, keep in mind, Venus is in Leo, so our heart space is wide open. We're super sensitive. We have to keep in mind that it could be overwhelming and semi-dramatic at times, but this is almost like a delusional state of happiness. Now, I don't mean delusion as in like you're going to go crazy and that you're, feeding yourself lies. I'm just saying that a veil washes over us. Suddenly, we're not seeing life as it is. We're seeing life the way that we wish it was or the way that we desire it to be. Not a bad deal. We've had a hard time. We need to ride the wave right now. The wave is happiness, joy, elation, promise, hopes, dreams, and we want to sit in that. Now, just keep in mind, in this particular, let's call it happiness wave, we are not willing to see the details of our reality for what they are. We're trying to fluff them up. We got our rose-colored glasses on. Now, why I'm giving you this caution is because this is a very short-term wave. And when the wave crashes and then the wave recedes back out into the ocean and we are left with the details that we chose to gloss over, chose to ignore, chose not to even see with our rose-colored glasses on, there may come some shock, there may come some disappointment, there may come what the F is this moment, and not even realizing that that information, those details, that situation, those people were there in all of their glory. Nothing has changed. It's just you chose not to see it in the way that it actually is, and you chose to paint that picture in a different color, a different version to appease yourself. Okay, so we do have the potential to set ourselves up for disappointment and semi-disaster by wearing these rose-colored glasses and choosing not to see particular aspects, not seeing details, not wanting to see the true form of the situation that we're currently in. That being said, we're in a very dream-like state. We're in love with love. Anything is possible. Our dreams are possible. Our vision is possible. Everything is great. We're flying high. Again, like I said, an elated state of delusion. Ride the wave. You need to, because we're going to be smacked with reality checks here very shortly. You need to sit in the high wave of happiness, because this vibration, take a snapshot of it, of your mind, if you can. This vibration, this frequency is what we have to remind ourselves of when things get tough, when we get the reality check, because this is the inspiration and motivation that we need to hold on to so that we remember what it is that we're fighting for. We need to remember what it is that, especially in challenges and obstacles, that we actually want for ourselves when things get tough. That's how we get to push through. That's how we get to kind of stay strong in dealing with some of the challenges and obstacles that we face in order to actually bring our dreams and visions to life. So, with that being said, please do not make any serious commitments. Please do not make any serious decisions. Let's hold off on purchases. We don't want to do big ticket item spending. Again, we're kind of in la la land. We're not grounded. We're not in reality. And you will regret whatever big action, over exaggerated type of situation you create while this la la land veil is currently over us. Now, keep in mind, those rose-colored glasses, they will get slapped off your face very shortly. So let's not do anything that is going to totally traumatize us and put us in a situation to clean up the mess that we made when we were high on the vibes and living in la la land. So then the moon goes ahead and interacts with Neptune. And this is definitely pushing the good vibes. Again, I'm gonna throw this out there. Sit in the high vibes. They don't come very often. Now know that we're not gonna be able to sit into them very long, and know that every single time that we reach an opportunity to have high vibe situations, we're manifesting and dreams and visions are palpable, that, the dark force agenda always swoops in and creates a situation that takes us down a couple of pegs, and then we have a low. Keep that in mind. But at the same time, enjoy the highs while they last. This is going to really just make us align with the vision, with the dream, grasp that vision, grasp that vibration, grasp that happiness. That's what we have to hold on to. Again, taking us into the reality checks when we are grounded, when we get, the wind knocked out of our sails. We have to remind ourselves of how good it felt to be in alignment with our highest self, with our dreams, with our visions, with the possibility that anything is possible. Hold on to that. We're going to wrap up the day with the moon sextiling Jupiter. This is beautiful because Jupiter magnifies whatever it is that we're thinking and feeling. And right now, we're thinking and feeling a lot of beautiful things. We're having ideas pop off. The clarity of our vision, our dream is coming in. Jupiter is going to magnify all of that, turn the volume all the way up on that. Now, keep in mind, we are in a diluted state of happiness. So, things can get a little bit manic in that situation, but also just understand that we are grasping a bigger, broader vision of what is possible. We are renewing our happiness, our joy, our spirit. We are, kind of reworking what it is that we actually believe is possible for ourselves. There's nothing wrong with that. Just keep in mind that we will be brought down a couple of pegs here very shortly when this beautiful window of happiness passes.